So good morning to everybody. We'll start the lesson. Now, so far we studied actually the different kinds of tissues and the structural organization. The topic is structural organization of animals. There we have studied the tissues first, the different types of tissues, epithelial tissues. We have just the supporting tissues, what we can say the connective tissues, then the muscle tissues and the nervous tissue. Now we have to go for the organization of different organisms. In our syllabus given earthworm, cockroach and frog. So you have to study the structural organization of the entire what is called organism. Now let's start with the first one, the structural organization of earthworm. So far we studied only the tissues. The second part of the structural organization of animals, we have the type study. Earthworm, cockroach and also that is a frog. Now let's start with this one. You know earthworm is a burrowing animal. So it is normally called as the farmer's friend. Now it is widely used in the preparation of the compost, the organic manure by means of vermicompost, by means of vermiculture method. So we are getting vermicompost by culturing certain earthworms. Now the type study given in your syllabus is Fratima posthuma. Fratima posthuma. What is the systematic position of this Fratima posthuma? See, it belongs to the phylum Annelida, class Oligochaeta, because it is having the setae arranged, scattered all over the body, not found in bundles. That's why it's called as Oligochaeta. Then Terricolae, that is the order, genus Fratima, and then species Posthuma. So we have to write the species name in small letters. Maybe here it's a mistake. Species, what is called Posthuma. So Fratima posthuma. So use small letters here. Now that is about the arrangement. Annelida, Oligochaeta, Terricolae, then the genus Fratima, and then the species Posthuma. So it's a common Indian earthworm. It's a common Indian earthworm. So in addition to that one, we have a number of earthworms all over the board. The smallest earthworm, the largest earthworm, and we have the Indian earthworms. Now the smallest earthworm, Ketogaster anandale. This is the smallest earthworm, Ketogaster. Then the large one, the largest one, Megascolites australis, found in Australia. So this is the largest one, Megascolites, the largest, the smallest. Smallest Ketogaster anandale, the largest one found in Australia, that is called Megascolites australis. Now the Indian earthworms, normally we have Fratima, Lumbricus and also Dravida. These are all the Indian earthworms, Fratima, Lumbricus and Dravida. Now we are using, that one, earthworms for vermiculture. We are using earthworm for vermiculture to get what is called the compost or vermicompost, the organic manure. One question in the question paper, which one of the following earthworm is not used for vermiculture? Which one of the following earthworm is not used for vermiculture? Now this Fratima, the answer for that one, Fratima is not used for vermiculture. It's not used for vermiculture to make the vermicompost. So culturing of earthworms to get what is called the vermicompost, the manure. Vermicompost, the organic manure that is obtained by or through what we can say through the earthworm culture. That is called vermiculture, and the compost that is nothing but the manure is obtained is called vermicompost. So we have Fratima is not used for vermiculture. That's a question. Remember that one. Which one of the following earthworm is not used for vermiculture? Fratima. So the Indian species we have Fratima, Lumbricus and then Dravida. Others are used, but this one is not used for vermiculture. Now let's go for one by one. The nature of the earthworm in relation to the habitat, the external morphology, internal organization, etc. Now as usual, it lives in burrows. Burrowing animal. It lives in burrows. Then how can you know that particular place we have the earthworm? So their presence in the soil can be traced through the availability or the presence of the excreta that is released by them, what is called the worm castings. This is after feeding. The animal excretes the waste The animal just actually eliminates the waste in the form of cast. That is called the worm cast or worm castings. So by the presence of these worm castings, one can know that that place we have the earthworm availability. So their presence can be just find out easily. Now what is the nature of habit? Habitat, the place of living. Habit, the mode of living. Habitat, the place of living. Habit, the mode of living. Whether it is coming during daytime or night time. So it is normally doesn't like the light because respiration occurs only through the skin. The skin dries, the animal dies. That's why it doesn't come during the daytime. It comes only during the night time or during the rainy season. If there is no light, if there is no sunlight available. So they are called nocturnal animals, coming mostly during the night time. Even the copulation also occurs during the night time. That's why they call us a nocturnal animals. Coming out from the burrows only during the night time, nocturnal. Or during the rainy season, you can see the earthworm outside the burrows. Now, extended morphology. What is the nature of the body? The body is normally long and cylindrical. It is normally divided into many segments, 100 to 120 segments. It is being divided into 100 to 120 segments. What is the nature of the color of the body? Normally, the dorsal surface of the body is darker than what we call the ventral surface. That is normally dorsal surface dark brown and the ventral surface light brown. What is the reason for the dark brown? So this is actually an adaptation to protect the animal from if there is any sunlight, protection from sunlight. And that is why we have the melanin pigment. The skin color in our body is due to the melanin pigment. That melanin pigment normally protects eye, screening the light, not allowing the light and ultraviolet radiations to reach our body. Likewise, in the case of earthworm, the dorsal surface is normally dark brown in color because it is being exposed to the sunlight if the earthworm comes. So in order to protect the body from sunlight, now the animal is dark brown in color because of the presence of one pigment. We have melanin. In the case of this one, we have the pigment is called porphyrin. What's the name of the pigment found in the skin of earthworm? That is porphyrin. Responsible for dark brown color. Responsible for dark brown color. As I mentioned earlier, the body is divided into 100 to 120 segments. And these segments are called metameres. You know the meaning of metamerism. The linear division of the body into many segments. And all the segments are alike, having all the representative parts of the systems. That phenomenon is called metamerism. So the segments which are formed by metamerism are called metameres. Metameres, the segments normally formed because of metamerism. Now remember that one, the dark brown color of the skin on the dorsal side is due to the presence of porphyrin pigment. Now even the dorsal surface, we can find out there is a line, a mid-dorsal line. This is nothing but actually the mid-blood vessel dorsally in the interior of the body that is being exposed. So as the skin is transparent, you could see what we call the blood vessel, the dorsal blood vessel, that is being marked as what is called a dorsal line. So on the dorsal surface, this is marked by a median mid-dorsal line. This is nothing but actually the dorsal blood vessel present inside that is being exposed through the transparent skin and cuticle. So that is called actually the dorsal blood vessel. And on the ventral surface, you can identify the ventral surface by the presence of a number of genital openings. How can you identify the ventral surface? The dorsal surface is identified by the presence of actually a mid-dorsal line, nothing but the dorsal blood vessel. The ventral surface is normally identified by what we call the presence of genital apertures of both male and female because the animal is hermaphrodite. Now the first segment of the body is called just actually peristomium. This is otherwise called as the buccal segment. The first, I'll show the picture later now. The first segment is called what is known as peristomium. The mouth is located on the ventral surface of the first segment, what is called peristomium. So mouth is located in the peristomium, which is the first segment. Mouth, first segment, peristomium. Okay. Now, in front of the mouth, just overhanging the mouth, there is a fleshy lobe. That fleshy lobe is not a segment, a small lobe that is overhanging the mouth. And that is called prostomium. That is called prostomium. A fleshy lobe overhangs the mouth. It is used for some purpose. I will tell you now the functions. So, prostomium is not the first segment. Peristomium is the first segment. As mouth lies surrounding actually this mouth, this segment, hence called peristomium. A segment possessing the mouth or surrounding the mouth. And then prostomium, a lobe that is present in front of the mouth. Prostomium. Stoma means mouth. Pro means first. Not the first segment, in front of the mouth. Now, what is the function of prostomium? Now, number one, as it is overhanging the mouth, it normally covers the mouth. Number two, it is used as a wedge. What for? To break what is called the sand dunes. Sand dunes. So, open the cracks. So, they are used to force open the cracks. So, minute cracks are there through which only the animal is passing through and breaking the cracks and also breaking the smaller, that is mass of mud. And that is a function. And also it is sensory function, sense of touch. Not smell, sense of touch. So, the prostomium is a covering of mouth used to break as a wedge to break the cracks, and also break means again that's opening the cracks. Is there any crack through which only the animal is moving to make the burrow? So as a wedge to force open cracks, and finally a sense organ, sense of touch while it is moving. Okay, that's about the prostomium, now the first segment. Now in the case of mature earthworm, if you are taking the segments 14 to 16, so in the case of Megascalus mariceus, so we have actually 13 to actually 4 segments. Here only 3 segments. There you have 13, 14, 15, 16. That's different. But in some species we have 14, 15, 16 and 17. As in the case of Megascalus mariceus. There is a glandular thickening, and that glandular thickening just forming a girdle present in the segments 14 to 16 in Fretima, 14 to 7 in the case of Megascalus is called clitellum or cingulum, a new word. So in mature worms you see that one, not in the case of young worms. 14 to 16 segments are covered by a glandular thickening in the form of a dark band. Is being formed of glandular tissue. That is called clitellum or cingulum, a dark band of glandular tissue. That is in the form of a girdle, you can find it, a dark band of glandular tissue. This is called clitellum or cingulum. Remember that one, the number of segments. This is one question. The clitellum in the case of Fretima is formed of 3 segments, 14, 15 and 16. Then, what are the external apertures you can see? There is external morphology, the number of segments, we have what's the nature of the color, and also the number of segments, etc. forming the clitellum. Now, we have the following external apertures on the ventral side. Regarding what we have, spermathecal apertures. Now, inside the body, the segments you can see 6, 7, 8 and 9. 6, 7, 8 and 9. We have a bag-like structure, 6, 7, 8 and 9. We have a bag-like structure in each segment, a pair. These are concerned with, suppose for example, this is the structure, what we have, the sac-like structure. This is a sac-like structure found in each of the 6, 7, 8 and 9 segments, a pair. So, each segment has a pair in 6, 7, 8 and 9. 6, 7, 8 and 9. These bags are formed. They are concerned with the reception of the sperm during copulation. There is no direct copulation just for transferring the sperm to the reproductive organs. Now the animal receives the sperm from another earthworm and storing the sperm and just for before fertilization in a sac-like structure, namely spermatheca. So this is a spermatheca. And that spermatheca stores the sperm and it opens outside in the intersegmental group between 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. See, suppose we have the segments like this. They are opening in the intersegmental groove like this. Present in the segments 6, 7, 8 and 9, but opening through the openings found in the intersegmental grooves between 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8 and 8, 9. Location is 6, 7, 8, 9. But the openings are found in between the segment. openings in the intersegmental group. This is called the intersegmental group, and there only we have openings. So 4 pairs of spermatical openings are present between the segments. See that one, 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, and 8 and 9. Now the female genital aperture is found in the 14th segment. There is only one aperture, a single female genital aperture. Single female genital pore is present in the 14th segment, where you have the clitoris is there, where the clitoris is covering the segment. See, the clitoris is covering 14, 16, 14, 15, 16 segments. Now the openings, one opening about what we call the female reproductive organ, the testis, in the form of reproductive duct, the oviducts carrying the ovum. They are formed in the 14th segment. So spermatical openings 4 pairs, and then oviduct openings just 1 pair in the 14th segment. You see all these things in the picture. Now the male genital aperture 1 pair. So a single oviducal aperture, formed by the union of 2 oviducts in the 14th segment. Now we have a pair of male genital apertures present the ventrolateral sides. Suppose this is the 18th segment. Say an example of this is the 18th segment. Now this is what we have, the male genital aperture. This is the 18th segment. You have the male genital aperture. So a pair of male genital pores or apertures are present in the 18th segment ventrolaterally. Not in the center of the ventral region. Ventrolaterally, just towards the lateral side on the ventral side. Now we have small openings. Now these are the openings found on the ventral side. The genital apertures are always present on the ventral side. Okay, the male genital apertures, we have the spermatical apertures, and also the female genital aperture. These 3 openings are found ventrally. On the dorsal side too, we have certain openings. Suppose we are taking for example, now small openings are present. Now this is the 12th segment, and this is the 13th segment. 12th segment, that is the 13th segment. Starting from what is called the 12th segment, one in intersegmental groove. Now this is one opening present in the mid dorsal line between 12 and 13 onwards till the end of the body. We have pores. As these pores are found on the dorsal side, they are called dorsal pores. So the first dorsal pore is found between the segments 12 and 13. The first dorsal pore is found between the segments 12 and 13. What did I present? Now this is the dorsal pore, the shaded region. Okay, the first dorsal pore lies in the grooves between segments 12 and 13 and continuously present in the intersegmental grooves. And through these openings only you know that when the coelomic fluid present in the body cavity of earthworm, just it is normally oozing out and keeping the skin always moist, assisting the respiration process. If these openings are blocked, there is no release of what we have, that is the fluid, so that what is happening, the skin becomes dry. Now, we also have numerous minute openings are present throughout the body from 3rd segments onwards, and they are nothing but the openings of the excretory organ nephridia. These openings are called nephridial pores. So, we have numerous minute pores present all over the body. Open on the surface of the body became the first 2, excepting the 1 and 2. The peristomium and the buccal segment, excepting these 2, we have, these are all found almost all the segments till the end. These openings are called nephridia pores, the openings of the nephridia, the organs of excretion, from just actually leaving the first 2 segments. 1 and 2, there is no such opening. After that only we have openings. Now the last segment is present. You have the anus. That is normally called as pygidium. The last segment is called pygidium. The segment is called pygidium. Just like the first segment which is called peristomium, the last segment is called pygidium. Last segment is called pygidium. And where half the anus is located. So that's about the openings. The 4 pairs of spermatical openings, 1 single what we call that female genital pore, a pair of male genital apertures, and the dorsal pores, 1 in intersegmental group, starting from what we got the first between 12 and 13 And also we have numerous openings related to the nephridia present all over the body, just from the first two, leaving the first two. And anus is present in the last segment. That segment having the anus is called pygidia. So these are all the openings. So they are asking the question repeatedly about the openings, where you have the male genital apertures, where you have the female genital apertures, how many pairs of spermatical openings are found. This question came already. Number of spermatical openings, then the location of the female genital aperture, the location of the male genital aperture, the first dorsal pore, that is between 12 and 13, like that. Now here is an organization. So it is being formed of 100 to 120 segments. Now we have, this is the dorsal side, representing what we call the dorsal view. This is the ventral view and then the lateral view. Now you see that one, there is a line what I represent, a dorsal, mid-dorsal line. This mid-dorsal line is nothing but I mentioned about the blood vessel, the dorsal blood vessel. Now the first segment is called peristomium, and overhanging, this is the first segment, what we have the peristomium. And this is the lobe just overhanging the mouth, a small lobe found in front of the mouth, just having the functions, that will open the cracks and also just for protecting the mouth, okay, sensory function. Now we have the CT are found in the body, CT, which are the organs of locomotion, are found all over the body surface in the form of a ring. See that one, ring of CT. Now segments 14, 15 and 16, we have the clitoris. Now the female genital aperture is found in what we have the 14th segment, and the male genital aperture is found in the 18th segment. And along with we have just actually see that one in the segments 17, 18, certain projections are present. We have also accessory glands present in the 17 to 19 internally. We have also the prostate glands found located from 20 to what is called 16 to 20 or 17 to 21 as the case may be. So we have the anus is present at the posterior end, the anal opening. And we have the transverse grooves, they are called as intersegmental grooves. The number of segments are present, that are called as annuli. Okay, that is about the organization what it describes. This is the diagram showing that one. Now the next one, what is body seat? So the animal is moving with the help of three structures. One, body seat. Another one, we have the muscles. Body seat. Another one, the muscles. Circular and longinal muscles. See that one, outer circular, inner longinal muscles. They are located in the body wall, helping or assisting the locomotion. In addition to that one, we have the fluid that is filling the coelomic cavity. That is called coelomic fluid. That coelomic fluid is acting as a hydraulic skeleton. So body CT, the coelomic fluid acting as a hydraulic skeleton, and the muscles of the body wall all assisting the locomotion. Let's see the structure of body CT. Now in each body segment except the first and last, the first segment peristomium, the last segment pygidium, all are having, you see that one, except the first, the last, and also the clitoral region. Even the clitoral region also we don't have any, that is the body CT. We have rows of S-shaped, what is called the CT, arranged in definite rows, or also called as in Greek kete. And more or less it is integral in shape, like this. This is the body CT, having some just small projections like this. So it is sigmoid in shape, found located in the pits, and these pits are called setigerous sacs, sacs. Actually the sacs or the pits in which the body CT are found are called setigerous sac. Now these are all the epidermal pits. These are all the epidermal pits. What is called setigerous sacs. The place of location or the embedding of the body CT. Setigerous sacs. Now they are embedded in the epidermal pits, otherwise called the setigerous sacs. Now what is the mode of arrangement? How are they arranged? They are found actually arranged all around the body. Just a ring in the form of ring all around the body. This kind of arrangement is called periketine arrangement. They are found all over the body in the form of ring. So that ring of arrangement of CT is called periketine arrangement. Periketine means all around the body. So all around the body we have this one. So these are present in the pericytine arrangement, that is arrangement of setae all around the body in the form of rings. Now they can be extended or retracted. They can be extended from what we call the sac or the epidermal pits, or they can be just what we call just extended from the sac and also retracting back. This is because of what is called the protracted and retracted muscles. The protracted muscles are responsible for the extension during locomotion. The retracted muscles are responsible for withdrawing the setae into the pit. So both the muscles are responsible for the projection as well as retreating of what we have, that is the body setae. So the body setae can be retracted or can be extended. The extension is by means of protracted muscles. The retraction is by means of what is called actually the retracted muscles. Retracted muscles. Now what is the main purpose I mentioned about? Along with what we have the coelomic fluid, the body muscles, now they are involved in locomotion. They are involved in locomotion. So the pericytine arrangement, just remember that one. Nothing but the arrangement of setae, just like a ring, all around the body. This condition is called pericytine arrangement. What is the nature of the body wall? The body wall is aptly described as dermomuscular body wall. The reason for that one, we have epidermis is present, the dermis is present. The dermis is made up of muscles. So outer epidermis, outer cuticle, then dermis, then we have the muscles, and then finally we have the coelomic epithelium covering the peritoneum like that. So it is a dermomuscular body wall, having epidermis and the muscles in the body wall for locomotion, hence called dermomuscular body. Now what are the layers? The outermost layer is called a cuticle, non-cellular cuticle. It's transparent but not made up of cells. And followed by that one we have epidermis. That is a layer made up of single layer of columnar epithelial cells. Made up of single layer of columnar epithelial cells. And these cells contain glands which secrete a fluid, a mucus sometimes, to just make the earthworm slimy, assisting respiration. So the columnar epithelial cells with the secretory glands. We have the first layer cuticle, non-cellular, the second layer epidermis, single layer of columnar epithelial cells with the secreting glands. Then dermis or basement membrane. So there is a basement membrane on which only we have the muscles are resting. I made a mistake. That is what we have the layer of cells, what we have the epidermis is resting. So we have studied already the epithelial cells are placed over a basement membrane. The same condition here, you see that on the epithelial cells are arranged over a basement membrane. That is called dermis. That's why it's called as dermomuscular. The name is given basement membrane because the epithelial cells are rested. The name is given dermis as it is found below the epidermis. So that's why it's called as dermomuscular body wall, because it's having muscles also, circular and longitudinal muscles. Then two muscle layers, an outer circular and inner longitudinal. Two muscle layers, outer circular and inner longitudinal. So we have both the dermis as well as a muscle layer, hence called dermomuscular layer. Now we'll see that picture. Now internally, the longitudinal muscle, the innermost layer, is lined with coelomic epithelium forming the peritoneum, otherwise called peritoneum, because the coelomic cavity is otherwise called peritoneal cavity. The coelomic cavity is otherwise called the peritoneal cavity. So we have the innermost layer formed of actually coelomic epithelium. Normally the coelomic epithelium is formed of squamous epithelial cells. The coelomic epithelium is formed of squamous epithelial cells. Now, this is the arrangement. This is the section taken, not the diagrammatic one, the original section taken. Now you can see now this is the inner longitudinal muscles, outer circular muscles. And now we have the nephridia. Now the mesodermal tissues are lining what we have, this is the mesodermal tissue. Lining what we have the coelomic epithelium, not visible here. And then lamina pindus in the section showing that one intestinal epithelium released by the hood. Now this is a body cavity. This body cavity is called what is known as a coelom. The coelom is lined with what we call coelomic epithelium derived from squamous epithelium. Now the epidermis, this outermost layer. So only the muscles, epidermis are shown along with what we call the coelomic epithelium somewhere, but other structures are not visible because this is a sectional view taken originally. Now you could see here the arrangement, the cross section of what is called the body wall. As I mentioned earlier, this is the outermost layer, thin layer, non-cellular, transparent layer, cuticle. Then we have the epidermis made up of cells. And some of the cells contain gland. Now these are all the glandular cells. These are all the glandular cells, what we can say the mucus, which secrete what we call the mucus, the unicellular glands, mucus. Then it is being formed of different types of cells, will is bothered. Now we have the circular muscles found as outer layer of circular muscles. Then we have just what is called the inner layer of longitudinal muscle. This is the longitudinal muscle extending through the entire length of the body. The circular muscles are found in the form of ring around what we call each segment. The longitudinal muscles are extending from one end to another end, that is in the whole body length. Then we have circular muscles for the CT. The epidermal sacs, what I mentioned, they are having what we call the circular muscles for retraction and then what we call extension. So that is for the CT, not the layer, small group of muscles for retraction and then what we call extension are formed the protractor and the retracted muscle. They are nothing but the circular muscles only. Then we have the coelomic epithelium, otherwise called as a peritoneum. So this is layer number 1 and this is layer number 2 and this is actually outer circular muscles, the inner longitudinal muscles. Then we have that is peritoneum. These are all the layers, the fifth layer. These are all the layers of the body wall. So a clear picture is given. This is the diagrammatic one. The previous one is the actual section taken from the body. So part of the body wall, transverse section or the cross section. Now let's go for the digestive system, the alimentary canal. So the alimentary canal is a long tube, starting with the mouth, ending with anus, in between which we have pharynx, and before that we have the buccal cavity. Then we have the gizzard, the grinding mill. Then we have actually esophagus, gizzard, and then intestine, reaching to the anus. So the alimentary canal is a straight tube and runs between the first to the last segment. I mentioned earlier, the first segment possesses the mouth, the last segment you have the anus. Now, what are the layers present in the wall of the alimentary canal? So the wall of the alimentary canal is formed of, you see that one thick layer of visceral peritoneum. That is what is called the coelomic epithelium. Then we have outer longitudinal muscles and inner circular muscles. As in the case of body wall, we have to go from outside to interior. So the outer one is formed of peritoneum, a coelomic epithelium formed of squamous epithelial cells. And followed by it, we have here outer longitudinal and inner circular. In the body wall, we have outer circular and inner longitudinal, but here we have outer, that is longitudinal and inner circular muscles. I didn't mention that one, starting from that one, outer. And this one is the inner one. Then we have, it is followed by one cell thick endoderm cells. One cell thick endodermal cells. Now, this cell or the layer forming what is called the endoderm, it forms a folding on its dorsal side. Starting from, you see that 127 segment to 35 segment, 27 to 35. And this inward folding of the inner layer on its dorsal wall of the intestine, on the dorsal wall of the intestine, extending from the 27th segment to, for example, suppose you are taking the cross section. This is the dorsal side. Now this is the lumen, and this one is called as the diplozole. Diplozole. This is comparable to the villi. This is the sectional view of the digestive system, alimentary canal. This is the lumen. This is the body wall, the dorsal wall. Particularly the endoderm, the innermost layer, is being produced into inward folding. That inward folding is called diplozole, and that is found from 27th segment till the 35th segment, 27 to 35th. And that is meant for actually increasing the surface area of absorption, because the place of absorption occurs in the intestine, particularly from the 27th to 35th there. And this structure is called diplozole to increase the surface area of absorption. It is comparable to the villi of human beings. we have villi, you know that one, in the digestive tract to increase the surface area of absorption. To increase the surface area of absorption, and that is found in the case of human beings, the intestinal wall, finger-like projection, the same projection but found only on the dorsal side, that is called the tiplosome. Now this is the tiplosome. I'll show the picture, the real picture. So, and this is nothing but the endodermal layer of the digestive tract, which is inwardly folded on the dorsal region. So that's why it's given the inward fold of this layer along the mid-dorsal line. The inward fold of this layer, what is called the endodermal layer, singular of endoderm, along the mid-dorsal line from the 27th segment onwards is called tiplosome, but ending up to the 35th, starting from 27th and ending in the 35th segment, the tiplosome. So don't forget, it is comparable to, that is villi. What is its function? To increase the area of absorption. To increase the area of absorption. Now here is a section you can see. Now we have, this is one section showing the different layers. Now I want to show that one only the intestine. Now this is the lumen of the intestine. Now this is a cross section of the intestine. So we have just outer coelomic epithelium, then outer longinal muscles, then inner circular muscles. Now this is the endodermal layer. What I am shading is the endodermal layer. And this one forms, you see that one, a projection all along the mid-dorsal line, inward folding. And this is what is called the tiplosome. This is called as a tiplosome. I am showing the picture only for showing what we have the tiplosome, and also other structures present. We have, for example, cuticle, epidermis, outer circular, inner longinal muscles, then coelomic epithelium, all being present. But here I want to show mainly there is a tiplosome. See the dorsal wall of the endodermal cells form inward folding from the 27th segment onwards, and that is called tiplosome. It is equal to villi of human beings to increase the surface area of absorption. Okay, that's about that one. So these are all the structures related to the alimentary. We have some more structures you have to know. Now, you have to know the various regions of the body. The mouth is located on the ventral side of the first segment. So, mouth, first segment, ventral side. Now, the buccal segments are 1 to 3. The buccal cavity is present in segments 1 to 3. And the pharynx is located in the 3rd and 4th. The pharynx is located in 3rd and 4th. So, mouth in the first segment, the buccal cavity in 1 to 3 segments, the pharynx, which is muscular in nature, found what we call just in the 3rd to 4th, 3rd and 4th. And on the dorsal surface, there is a pharyngeal mass in the pharynx, otherwise called as pharyngeal bulb. Pharyngeal mass or pharyngeal bulb on the dorsal side. That one is acting as a gland which produces the viscous mucus and also the proteolytic enzymes. So segments 3 and 4, 1 that is what we have the prostomium, and then 1 to 3 segments, the extension you have the buccal cavity, 4 and 5 we have muscular pharynx. On the dorsal wall we have just actually a pharyngeal mass or a bulb which is acting as a gland secreting mucus and proteolytic enzyme. Then the next one is esophagus, starting from 5 to 7. So 3 and 4 we have just the pharynx. Then we have 5, 6 and 7 we have the esophagus, which is normally narrow in nature. Okay, 1 that is a mouth. Then 1 to 3 the buccal, and 4 and 5 just what we have. Simply just actually 3 and 4 we have what is called the pharynx. You can see that one, 3 and 4, and partially just actually the 4th segment, and 5th segment, 5th to 7 we have the esophagus, and then 8 and then 9, 8 and 9 we have a thick walled gizzard on the inner layer of which contains some chitinous plates for grinding the food. That's why it's called as a gizzard, a grinding mill. So it is a thick wall of circular muscles and is lined with some internal chitinous cuticle. Chitinous cuticle present for grinding the food, hence called as a grinding mill. So main purpose is grinding the food, hence called as a grinding mill, normally found in the segments that is 8 to 9. It is not the place of digestion, it is a place of mastication, grinding the food. So because of the presence of chitinous wall. and that one is called as a grinding wing. Then it is followed by the stomach. That is, it is a long enough 9 to 14 segments. It is having actually 9 to 14 segments location, and it is a long tube. Then in the stomach, there's normally, so 8 to 9 we have the gizzard, and 5 to 7 we have the esophagus. Now in the stomach, there is one question we have regarding the examination point of view. There is one gland what is called calciferous glands. Calciferous glands. So calciferous glands are present in the wall of the stomach. What is their function? To neutralize the humic acid present in the humus that is being taken by the animal as a food. So its function is neutralizing the humic acid present in the humus, the decayed organic matter the animal is feeding on. So humus is nothing but the decaying organic matter which contains an acid, humic acid. It may cause acidity in the stomach that is being nullified by the calcareous gland. This is the question. What is the role of calcareous glands? Where you have these calcareous glands? Calcareous glands are present in the stomach of earthworm. It is used to neutralize the humic acid of the humus, the one which is being taken as a food. Humus, organic decaying matter. Because the animal is feeding on only the organic decaying matter as a food. The food of earthworm, what is the food of earthworm? Decayed organic matter. Decayed organic matter along with the soil. So the animal is taking in. Now, in addition to that one, the glandular cells of the stomach also secrete what we have proteolytic enzymes. Just like the pharyngeal mass, here also they are concerned with the digestion of protein, they secrete the proteolytic enzymes. Now, intestine. So, the intestine starts from the 15th segment because we have up to 14 segment we have. That is 9 to 14 segments we have the stomach, followed by it we have the 15th segment onwards we have the intestine. So it starts from the 15th segment and continues till the last segment. Intestine starts from the 15th segment and continues till what we have the last segment. So in the 26th segment we have a pair of intestinal caecae. This is one question. The 26th segment we have a pair of intestinal caecae, and that is actually concerned with, it is more or less similar to the liver, secreting the enzymes. That enzyme is amylatic enzyme for the digestion of starch. So intestinal caecae, which secretes actually, that is amylatic enzyme concerned with the digestion of starch, located in the 26th segment. Okay, so just